Hi, I'm Jessica Jacobs, and I'm so honored to be here with you sharing David Wagoner's poem, Lost. It's a short one, so let's start by reading it so we're on the same page, which only seems fair, and then I'll read it again at the end. Lost. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. When I think about growing up, which for me happened in the suburbs of a very conservative central Florida, the main feeling that comes to mind is loneliness. Even though I played sports and I was involved with a lot of different activities in school, I always felt a little weird, or really weird, if I'm being honest, a little on the outside of even those people that were supposedly my friends. And some of this happened because I was queer, which I knew from a very young age. But it was also because I was interested in things that were a lot different than the people around me. And I loved to lose myself in books as much as I did in the woods and rivers and the lake near my house. And it's funny, but at the time, if you had asked me, I would have told you that I hated Florida, and I always would. But now that I'm an adult and I live somewhere else, and I really mostly only go back to Florida to visit my family, what I've found, and it's very strange, is that that landscape and that culture there pop up in my writing and my poems all the time. Not to mention in my dreams. I dream often of being in the lake that I grew up on. And now that I have some distance from it, I can see how fascinating and strange and almost mythical a place that it is, because it's filled with sinkholes and swamps and snakes and gators. And so when I was asked to share a poem with you, uh, Lost was the first one that came to mind, because it's a companion and a guide I wish I'd had when I was younger. Because for me, I had wanted so badly to get older, to get to whatever was next, that I can only imagine all of the things I missed along the way. So from the very first line in this poem, stand still. I know I'm in good hands, right? They remind me to slow down, maybe even stop for a minute and not be so eager to get to some imagined future that I don't take the time to notice what's right around me in that moment. You can never be bored if you just pay attention. Because as Wagner reminds us, no matter how lost we feel, the trees and bushes that we've now stopped to observe, well, they aren't lost. And perhaps they can even be the teachers that we really need. He reminds us that here, right, wherever we are, is a place worth noticing. Um, and then there's this strange line that I had to sit with for a while, that we must treat here as a powerful stranger. And I tried to think about, well, how do we approach someone that we find intimidating? And we do it with caution and with care. We do it with respect and attention. And this poem is really inviting us to bring that same approach to our surroundings, which he tells us might result in the deep joy of not only knowing a place, right, a specific place, but being known by it. And I can't think of, of really what we want more, right, than to be truly known. Because here in this poem, the natural world is shown to us as not just alive, which it is, of course, right, but responsive, able to reciprocate our interest. It listens, it can even answer our questions, especially if we learn about all of the plants and creatures and weather that call that specific place home. And if we learn to listen to what they're trying to tell us. And then as we continue on in the poem, we have not just the plants, but we have the birds too, reminding us that every tree, every branch is its own spectacular universe worthy of our attention. And by the end, the poem tells us, right, we can go back to that place, we can call it here. And even if we fail, right, we forget, we get distracted, right? And that's what life is. It's failing again and again. And maybe if we're super lucky, as the playwright Samuel Beckett said, we can even fail better, right? A little bit. It's okay, because all we have to do is not panic. We need to stand still, right? We need to lower our shoulders, take a deep breath, and allow the force to find us. And of course, in this poem, I think forced can be read as any place, right? It can be read as allow the city to find us, the desert to find us, wherever we are, wherever you are. We don't need to, just take out our phone and get lost in it as a way of staving off loneliness, right? Or trying to feel connected to something beyond us. All we really need to do is just get quiet for a second and open our eyes, open all of our senses, and allow the world to know us. And maybe, right, maybe, just maybe, that might help teach us who we are, right, where we are, and where we want to grow from there. So let's hear the poem again. This is Lost by David Wagoner. Stand still. The trees ahead and bushes beside you are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying, here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you are surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. So I hope you have fun getting lost and then finding yourself. Thank you so much.